I'm Burble Mantequilla. I still haven't finished Corpse Factory, but I am heading into the home straight. The last 2 acts are much shorter. I looked into it. The last 2 acts are much shorter. I think we're halfway through Act 2 now, because we did get a big chunk of Kojiro's, I forgot his name, Kojiro's act. We got quite a chunk of that done. So we will at the very least finish Kojiro's act today. We'll see how quick that is. We may get to Act 3. Yeah, we're going to jump in. Enjoy. It's Halloween weekend, isn't it, really? If you're doing Halloweeny stuff and you work Monday to Friday, this is the weekend that people are Halloweening. So we are doing our Halloweeny visual novel. Trigger warning, look out. If we're on YouTube. Sorry. I assure you, YouTube, don't watch this if suicide is gonna make you unhappy for the rest of the day. Okay. Our Corpse Factory music is twanging away in the background, so we're gonna jump in. Okay. And we are here. Am I too bright? The cage looks really bright, doesn't it? It's not that bright outside. I think we just finally got the cameras to work for us. It's a bonus. Okay. It's the same stakeout as last time. Junpei Matsumoto, in his infinite wisdom, posted on Noise about visiting the maid cafe today. Don't know why he doesn't set his profile to private, especially after I followed him home last time. But I won't be following him again today. I'll confront him inside the maid cafe, a place where Aoi is unlikely to be since she quit the job a while ago. Although, did she really quit? If memory serves, she was dressed as a maid last time I encountered her. It's not that I have qualms about killing her. In fact, I'm not even bothered that Noriko is okay with ordering her death. I'm just thinking about the future. When Noriko and I marry, we'll want friends and family to attend the wedding. Noriko will need bridesmaids, a maid of honor. Aoi will be perfect for one of those roles. By sparing her life now, I can kick off my new life with Noriko on a high note. I'm aware other people will be present in the cafe. I've no interest in hurting them. I'll force as many as possible to evacuate, or I'll corner Junpei somewhere private. The dog himself arrives as I'm playing through possible scenarios in my head. He waltzes through the front door, completely oblivious to my presence across the street. I'll give him some time. Let him get comfortable. Lower his guard. The weight of the blade inside my pocket is unfamiliar. Not like it's so heavy that it will restrict my movement, just feels strange. Figured it was better not to tackle this unarmed. It's an emergency measure. After 20 minutes, I approached the maid cafe's entrance. Oh my god, it looks like an Animal Crossing Happy Home design. Not a fan of the atmosphere. Me too, Kojiro. Too flashy for me. Prefer somewhere more simple, laid back. It doesn't say maid either, does it? It doesn't say maid cafe. It says kawaii. Junpei has a table near the far wall, alone. Not that I expected any different. A blonde maid trots over to refill his drink. He nods politely but doesn't say a word. Hasn't seen me come in yet. Someone asks if I want a table. I don't respond. Someone else chimes in, something about paying the cover charge. I don't know. My attention is on the dog. No one attempts to hold me back as I march towards my prey. He finally sees me, but I'm 5 steps away and it's too late.
Oh, what the?
Long time.
You're crazy, man. Get away from me!
Looking at him up close, he doesn't seem too worse for wear, considering our last encounter. I start to wonder if I went too easy on him.
Can I sit here?
Hell no! Get out of here!
Thanks.
I pull up a chair and sit directly across from him. The blonde maid from before offers me a menu. Then she gasps and I hear something shatter on the floor.
It's you!
Strange, Aoi didn't quit her job after all. Did she lie to Noriko? Did Noriko lie to me? I'm 90% sure it's her anyway.
Stay back, baby! I got this!
Yep, it's her.
Thought you quit?
Huh?
I thought you quit this job.
What? How would you know that?
I realised that I shouldn't spill any details on my relationship with Noriko.
Forget it.
Oh, you think you're hot stuff, right? Tailing me, beating me up, and now you're digging into my girl's business? The fuck is wrong with you, man?
Excuse me for a second.
I stand up slightly and lean over the table. Junpei recoils as my fist pummels his nose.
Sorry, had to do it.
I sit back down and wipe my bloodied knuckles with a napkin. Junpei clutches his face and sobs. Aoi is visibly shaking, standing next to her dog, unsure how to react. By some miracle, I don't think anyone else around witnessed the punch. For the best. Me, I'm like, for the best? I emphasize that sentence wrong. Means we can get down to business without interruption.
Some questions for you.
You broke my nose!
Shush. Haven't asked my question yet.
Aoi somehow gathers the courage to flee. I don't watch her leave, but I get the sense she's gone to fetch help.
What do you know about the robbery of the hospital morgue?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, not the answer I wanted.
Junpei makes the mistake of possessing fingers. I jam a steel fork into the back of his left thumb and pin it to the wooden table.
You're going to give me the answers I want. Am I clear?
You're a nutcase. You're psycho!
No. For my next question, how did you find out about my involvement with Corpse Girl?
It seems that Junpei is carefully weighing his response for the first time. Instead of outright defiance, he wisely chooses to grant me a satisfactory answer.
It wasn't hard, man. You're not the most stealthy dude around, you know?
Explain.
You and that blonde gal girl, Tomoe Watanabe, you're not cautious enough.
So he knows Tomoe's identity and her involvement. This hound is truly a liability.
It's not hard to tell you when you drive that hunk of shit van around town, dropping dead bodies off to Corpse Girl's targets.
He knows a lot. Way too much. How far does his knowledge extend?
I see. My next question, then. Do you know Corpse Girl's identity?
I think the real question is, do you?
I consider his words, do I know Corpse Girl's identity? Beginning to doubt that. Had he asked me a week or two ago, I would have thought of Noriko immediately. Now, the way Noriko has been referring to Corpse Girl, I'm not so certain. But I won't let this wounded mutt have the upper hand. I won't let him pry open gaps in my defense.
Wrong answer.
The only other piece of cutlery at hand is a metal spoon. I drive the slightly pointed rear end of it into the pointer finger on Junpei's already injured hand.
Corpse girl's identity?
Fine. Noriko Kurosawa.
Interesting.
I see.
A hesitant tap on my shoulder from behind me causes me to turn.
Leave him alone.
Aoi has somehow gathered a half dozen other bystanders, they all glaring at me, fists clenched, ready to try and forcibly remove me from the premises.
We're not done here. Come back later.
Let my Junpei go. Stop hurting him.
For an outwardly meek girl, Aoi has more courage than I expected. I stand up and stretch my neck. I'm not looking for a fight with a bunch of cafe patrons. Heaving a sigh, I dip my hand into my pocket and withdraw the knife. Flashing it in front of the mob says more than my words ever could. They all back off, a few letting out snivels of despair. Aoi, either out of bravery or fear, holds her ground. A single watery tear welling in her left eye discloses her true feelings.
Leave. Everyone. Now.
Doesn't take more than this animalistic primitive command to convince the crowd to disperse and rush for the door. Aoi is amongst the fleeing throng, and she mouths the word sorry as she catches Junpei's eye. Satisfied that we will not be interrupted further, I return my attention to Junpei. He sobs vocally.
Don't kill me, man. I'll do whatever you want, you know? Please, I'm begging you. I've got my whole life ahead of me.
Relax. Only one more question for you.
What? What is it?
Who runs the human removal service? Who is the Herald?
I'm being completely honest with you, man. I don't know who he is. He wears this creepy-ass mask and never speaks.
Can't quite tell if the dog is being sincere or lying through his teeth.
I need more than that. Who would know his identity?
Shit. Look, man. The human removal service. It's only the two of us. Me and the Herald. He recruited me online, you know? He makes me do his legwork. So, if I don't know who he is, no one does. Except him, of course.
Not good enough. Not the answer I'm looking for. I lean over the table once more, keeping my knife clearly within the dog's vision.
Not happy with that answer. Pick a finger.
Shit, no, dude, seriously. Ask me a different question. Please, please.
Kojiro,
A voice I didn't expect to hear rings out from behind me.
Noriko,
enough.
why are you here?
I overheard everything. It's enough information to use.
Is it?
Noriko strides forward. It's a little unnerving seeing her in the real world, away from the factory. She's been cooped up in there for so long. Her pale skin looks almost otherworldly beneath the cafe's gaudy lights. For whatever reason, she's wearing her best clothes. They're almost clean, as though she recently did her own laundry. She walks with purpose, one foot in front of the other, but her gait is unsteady and she's visibly trembling. At the end of her path, she rests her palms against Junpei's table and takes a calming breath.
You stole the corpses from the morgue.
No.
Yes.
Noriko doesn't miss a beat as she flashes her phone at Junpei. I can't see what's displayed on the screen, but the dog hangs his head almost immediately.
It was me. I robbed the morgue.
Noriko pockets her phone. She then tosses a small bundle of bandages into the table. Bandages? Junpei hastily grabs the offering with his good hand.
Get out of here. Get Aoi to bandage you up. And not a word of this to the police.
Yes.
With a great deal of effort and grimace, Junpei plucks the cutlery from his pierced hand and yelps. Not daring to remain in my presence any longer, he bolts towards the door.
We're just letting him go?
Yes.
Don't understand.
You don't need to.
Don't like that. don't feel comfortable not knowing what's going on.
What did you show him on your phone?
Leave it, Kojiro. Put the knife away. We're leaving.
I obey her orders, returning the knife to my pocket. I follow her unsteady lead and we exit the empty maid cafe. Noriko gasps unhealthily as she quickly consumes her weight in water. With a loud swallow, she brings her sleeve to her lips and wipes her mouth dry. The empty water bottle clatters against the concrete and Noriko's gaze returns to me.
That's a bit better.
The visit to the maid cafe got the better of her. She spent too much energy intervening in the confrontation. But her motives for doing so remain unclear.
Fill me in.
There's no need to kill Junpei.
Why? He knows everything. Knows me, knows Tomoe. He knows... you.
Noriko hesitates, but she doesn't flinch at the revelation. Something tells me she already knew this much.
Junpei Matsumoto will be dead by sunrise. I made a request, Kojiro.
A request. The first thought that jumps out at me is that she requested for Corpse Girl to kill Junpei Matsumoto. But that's a ridiculous notion, isn't it?
I see. I don't think Corpse Girl can take care of him. He knows her whole operation.
Noriko's raised eyebrow conveys her confusion.
What? No, I didn't make a request through Corpse Girl's website. What would be the point of that?
I shrug because I truly don't know what else she could have meant.
I used the other website. The Human Removal Service. I made a request for the death of Junpei Matsumoto.
Oh. But again, what good would that do? Junpei is an accomplice. If his colleague, the venerable, supposedly immortal Herald, receives a request to kill him, it will simply be ignored. Unless a startling realization dawns on me.
Shit, of course. Why didn't I suggest that?
A haunting smirk is inscribed across Noriko's features. She knows that I have finally drawn the same conclusion.
The Herald is ambitious. His convictions are strong. Absolute. Just like mine. Like Corpse Girl's.
I was actually thinking to myself that the Human Removal Service could request Corpse Girl kill herself. Or they could make like 1,000 requests, all for Corpse Girl to kill Noriko. I was imagining that he had loads and loads of followers, and it was a massive team of people who think he's all so cool. But from what Junpei was saying, it's just Junpei. But if there were loads of them, he could say, this is the photo, this is the name, this is the address. Everyone put a request for this person to be killed to Corpse Girl. And then when it doesn't happen, because she won't do it, all of these people then have her address and know that the Herald wants her dead. And so there's a bunch of people that are all going to try and kill her at the same time. That's what I thought could be a way of the Herald getting rid of Corpse Girl, making Corpse Girl be a hypocrite and not fulfill the 1,000 requests for her own death. Because she's already been a hypocrite and not fulfilled one request for her own death. I wonder if we ever find out who that was. I wonder if we ever find out who requested it. Maybe that was her sister. Her sister was requesting a load of people's deaths. Maybe her sister did it.
Corpse Girl's convictions, huh? Corpse Girl would never reject a request.
But she did when it was for her.
That's right. Junpei Matsumoto is disposable. A pawn. The Herald will deal death to him in the same manner as any other nameless victim.
I see.
But more important than Junpei being killed is what we will discover in the aftermath.
Explain.
By knowing that Junpei is the next to be targeted, We can observe him and witness the Herald's killing method firsthand.
Ah. It's brilliant. Noriko has laid the perfect trap. By sparing Junpei's life today, we have set him up to be slaughtered by his own compatriot. And we can use his death as a means to uncover exactly how the Herald brings low his victims.
Have to add it to you. This is a pretty fantastic plan.
I know.
A few things.
You have doubts?
Not doubts, exactly. Firstly, how do we know exactly when Junpei will be killed?
Noriko sweeps her hair behind her ear and scoffs, as though the answer should be as clear to me as it is to her.
I specifically requested the time of death.
You can do that?
The human removal service demands it.
Interesting. Second topic. What if you're wrong?
What?
What if the Herald isn't willing to kill his own ally?
In that case, it will prove something important. It will prove that we're dealing with a complete amateur. Someone whose convictions could never reach the strength of corpse girls.
And just like that, Noriko reaffirmed my earlier suspicions. Corpse Girl truly would destroy her own allies in order to see her ambitions fulfilled. Tomoe, myself, our souls are shackled to Corpse Girl's own black void, yet we are not safe from her wrath. Should Noriko will it, our flames will be snuffed out in moments. We are nothing to her, dirt, dust, ash. We will be blown away like the useless, incinerated remains of a cadaver. But she isn't absolute because she didn't kill herself.
Understood. Let's uncover the secrets behind the human removal service.
That's got to come up that she's a hypocrite because she didn't fulfill the request for her own death. Another early morning, if you can call it that. I haven't gone to sleep yet, so it still feels like late night. Noriko has me on a short leash. Thinks she knows it too. Apparently she specified this as the place of Junpei's death. Don't know how she knew of it. The parking lot complex belongs to Junpei's apartment building. It extends 2 or 3 levels underground. Again, Noriko specified the exact location of the death. The human removal service seems to take user requests very seriously.
How much further in?
Shh! Keep your voice down. I'm just looking for a good vantage point that we can hide.
Her words are severed by a violent gasp. Unable to speak another word, she simply points. My eyes obediently follow the direction of her slender finger.
Oh.
It's a woman, isn't it?
Disappointing. Missed the main event.
Junpei Matsumoto is already dead. He's floating in a sea of his own lifeblood. Vicious stab wounds practically glow red along his back. After examining his remains, I turn my attention to the less interesting figure standing motionless beside him.
You!
The masked stranger looks like the villain from a B-rated slasher film. He's covered from head to toe in dark clothing, a zipped-up jacket with extra long sleeves, a hood, a skirt. The cut of the figure's clothes combined with his physique gives me the impression that he may in fact be female. Is this the Herald we've been searching for? The bloody corpse at her feet would suggest it if it was so.
That mask!
The mask? It's simple white, probably porcelain. It's reminiscent of something, some fictional character or maybe some film villain after all. The Herald still hasn't moved. She's as still as a statue, gaze vacant, her eyes impossible to discern behind the mask.
Are you the Herald?
For the first time, the figure moves. But it's a startling jerky motion like a mannequin or a puppet being pulled by strings. Her head cocks to the side and she seems to notice our presence for the first time. but an answer to Noriko's question is not forthcoming. I step up to the plate.
You really immortal?
The herald doesn't react to my voice like she reacted to Noriko's. She has returned to a stiff doll-like state. Pretty easy to prove if someone or something is immortal, and I always have a curious mind. I draw the knife from my pocket and launch at the mannequin. The blade embeds itself in the thing's shoulder, and she doesn't so much as flinch as a trickle of blood pools around the shining steel.
Oh, Mr. Hart.
Kojiro, why did you do that?
I shrug and take a step toward the herald before Noriko tugs at my coat and holds me back. She takes my place and puts herself between me and the herald.
Tell us who you are. We deserve to know that much.
Is it too obvious that it's baby talking bitch? Is it too obvious? Something in Noriko's words, the sound of her voice or the tone of her plea causes the herald to move once more in acknowledgement. But the motion this time is quick, fast, calculated. The herald moves a sleeved hand to withdraw a knife from her shoulder, and she allows the blade to drop down to the concrete ground with a dull ting. Before the knife hits the ground, the herald turns her back to us and breaks into a sprint.
Shit, not cut out to chase her.
Don't bother. We won't catch up.
The herald disappears into the darkness of the parking lot. We are left standing by the corpse of Junpei Matsumoto.
Well, we didn't see the killing, but at least the request was granted.
She's right, her gambit paid off. The herald killed her own ally. She has proven her convictions are strong. I crouch down to examine Junpei's corpse, but it's hard to get a good look in the darkness. Regardless, it's clear that the dog is dead.
Should we leave the body?
Going to send a text.
Huh? Who are you messaging?
See if I can pull a few strings. Wouldn't mind if the corpse ended up at my morgue.
What are you planning?
Nothing. Really. Just want to prod and poke a bit.
Noriko's subsequent grunt is clear indication that she doesn't fully believe me.
Do what you want. I've gained as much from this as I had hoped.
I let her trail off as I turn my attention to my phone. I swipe through my contacts and quickly compose a message to a few people in particular. If all goes well, an investigation team will shortly arrive to examine this scene. I'll be gone by then, but if my contacts do their job correctly, they'll haul Junpei back to the morgue. I pocket my phone and scurry toward the blood-soaked knife I launched at the herald. It slides back into my pocket and I signal to Noriko that we should depart.
Goodbye, Junpei Matsumoto.
She waves half-heartedly at the corpse and lets out a childlike giggle. A scant few hours sleep didn't offer much in the way of refreshment. Have to be at the morgue again in an hour. Not that there's much to do there since the place was robbed. Perhaps a few more cadavers will have arrived. Perhaps Junpei Matsumoto's corpse will be there. I should take the opportunity to take a breath. Been a while since life slowed down like this. No requests coming through for Corpse Girl. No bodies to haul around town with Tomoe. No cadavers to catalogue at the morgue. Life should be good. I'm still alone, and Noriko may decide to discard me at any moment. Why does that make me want her more? Do I want to prove my worth, my value? Prove to her that I'm worth keeping around? Don't know. Doesn't matter in the long run. After brewing myself a cup of coffee and using the French press Tomoe gifted me, I take a seat in my chair. Sitting alone in the darkness is somewhat depressing. Somewhat? But it's only temporary. I won't be alone forever. Soon Noriko will sit here with me. We'll be together, together in the darkness. I'll make her see my worth. I'll make her love me the way that I love her. I'll make her fill the void that Shizuko left in my life. I'll make her treat the gnawing pain in my insides. I'll make her save me from falling into despair, from falling into old habits. Noriko will save me from myself, just like Shizuko once did. I take a sip of my coffee. It's still a little hot and it scalds the gap in my mouth where my tooth once was. It hurts. But I'll be okay. Soon. It's hard to hide a smile when plans unfold perfectly. When plans unfold perfectly. I mean, plants do unfold perfectly. It's like a flower opening. The body was here waiting for me when I arrived at the morgue. Staring down at the pallid corpse of Junpei Matsumoto fills me with more satisfaction than I thought possible. The dog is dead, and my early morning encounter with his executioner wasn't just some fever dream born from wishful thinking. His body is riddled with stab wounds, deep, clean, piercing cuts. But these injuries were not inflicted by a knife. I'm no forensic pathologist, but the wounds are too thin and too deep. Each intrusion is about the width of a chopstick. Doubt he was killed by chopsticks, though you never can rule out everything. What's that? Rapier. Rapier's like teeny tiny. My gaze pans down his body, looking for anything of interest. The rest of his form looks ordinary. Nothing to note. I'll zip up the bag for now and return to his allocated cold chamber. Might take him out once in a while to have a laugh. As I raise the zipper covering his legs and groin, I have to shift his arms to fit them within the HRP. And then I flinch, and my hands instinctively retract from the cadaver. I'm used to the ice-cold touch of a body fresh from its containment chamber, the sensation of lifeless preserved flesh. Thus, it wasn't the sensation of touch that caused me to startle. It was the sight of something out of the ordinary, something I'd somehow missed during my initial observation. Junpei's fingers. 5 thick, meaty digits on each hand. 10 perfectly intact, dead but otherwise healthy fingers. It was only days ago that I pierced 2 of his fingers, his thumb and his pointer finger, using cheap metal cutlery. I can't forget the distinct feeling of plunging those implements through flesh and bone, pinning his fingers to a table. That corpse before me shows no evidence of ever being injured in such a manner. Nobody can heal wounds like that without medical attention. Even then, stitches and scars will remain. But Junpei Matsumoto's digits are 100% intact and puncture-free.
Interesting.
Come to think of it, didn't I snap another few of his fingers in half that time I confronted him outside his apartment? I'm sure I did, crushed the bones within my own fist. But this corpse's hands don't show signs of that either. Normal to the touch, no visible bruising. On a whim, I pull out my phone and open noise. I navigate to Junpei Matsumoto's profile. Load a few profile images, swipe through them one by one. I put my phone right next to Junpei's head, comparing the similarities between Junpei's photos and his dead body. Everything becomes clear immediately. Certain elements of Junpei's features don't match. His nose is broader in photos, his lips are thinner, more tall. The corpse in front of me is not Junpei Matsumoto. It's a copy, a clone. Junpei Matsumoto's death was faked for our entertainment. The body lying on the ground in front of the Herald was planted there before we arrived, planted to convince us that Junpei had met his maker. The Herald did not kill Junpei. The Herald simply used one of Corpse Girl's tricks and produced a carbon copy body. All in order to fool myself and Noriko. As this revelation settles in my mind, I come to another conclusion. The morgue being robbed was no coincidence. I can almost guarantee that the cadaver used to replicate Junpei's death was stolen from this very place. A weapon of deception stolen and turned against us. And the morgue was targeted before Noriko even requested Junpei's death. Almost as if the human removal service predicted Noriko's movements in advance. Is that even possible? All I know for sure is that the dog is still out there, still skulking around, working for his master. This is starting to get interesting.
Okay, I think I'm up to date. I guess it was a good thing you decided to prod and poke Junpei's corpse, as you put it.
Guess so.
I thought you were just being your usual morbid self, taking corpses for your own use, whatever that may be.
Don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm glad you acted. Faking Junpei's death. What's their end goal? What did they really accomplish by pulling such a stunt?
There's a million possible answers to that question. Can't know the real truth, not yet.
Obvious answer would be that they wanted to deceive us. Make us think we have the upper hand.
I came to the same conclusion. They think they've fooled us. But we know better. Can we use that to our advantage?
Don't know.
Sometimes you're helpful, and other times you're just...
Request his death again. Like, I know he's not dead, and I want him dead. Do the job.
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
It irritates her when I withhold my thoughts. Sometimes I act like this just to elicit a reaction from her. She's cute when she's pissed off.
I don't know what we should do next. We're kind of at a dead end, right?
Kind of.
Corpse Girl's website has gone silent. No one is requesting deaths anymore. But if I'm to believe the news, there are still dozens of people being killed all around the city, which means the human removal service is still as active as ever.
Don't beat yourself up. Don't have any cadavers at the morgue anyway. Can't exactly fulfill any requests.
True.
She sighs and rubs her eyes. Despite her tired, exhausted appearance, she's dealing with her recent events rather well, for Noriko at any rate.
Can you let me know when the morgue starts filling up again?
Sure. Hang on. There is one body there. Fake Junpei.
Yeah.
Not much use, though, I suppose.
No, not really. Keep me updated.
Okay.
She rubs her eyes again and tries to hold back a yawn.
You look wrecked.
Sorry. Things are tough right now.
It'll get better. You'll cause some deaths soon enough.
My words have the strange effect of actually cheering her up slightly. I know we're not exactly the most normal people. The things we do, the causes we devote ourselves to, they are wrong. There's no other way to put it. I know this, I trust that Noriko knows this as well. We're morbid, sick, disgusting. Noriko slaughters innocent people in the name of Corpse Girl, her fabricated idol or alter ego or whatever else it could be. As for me, I've got as much blood on my hands as Noriko does. She likes to believe she's innocent, but the truth is she's just as guilty as any killer. I don't see myself the same way. I know for a fact the things I've done are enough to put me behind bars for the rest of my life. I don't try to convince myself that I'm something I'm not. I'm a criminal, plain and simple. But Noriko is a kindred spirit. We're connected on the same level. I don't expect the average person to understand. We're bonded by the things we've done, the death we've witnessed. Looking at her now, this tired girl worn thin by stress. I can't help but be reminded of Shizuko. I messed up with Shizuko. It didn't take the time we had together seriously. I took it all for granted. I won't make the same mistake with Noriko. I'll make her mine and I'll prove my love to her every day. Perhaps that will convince her to not discard me when I've run out of use.
Want something to eat?
She glances at me, opens her mouth, but weighs her words before speaking.
Thanks, but you know me.
I know.
Of course I know. I know so much about her. She doesn't eat, not unless she absolutely has to in order to live for another day.
Something light? A salad? I want to share a meal with you.
I can't.
Okay, I understand.
I do, I get it. It's Noriko. Her convictions are what I admire most about her. What would it say of her character if I could break her convictions with a simple invitation?
We should get married.
Huh?
A few days ago, you said you'd be mine.
I told you something like that, yeah. But that had a condition. You had to kill Junpei.
You stopped him though. She's right, I didn't manage to kill him. Does that mean I don't deserve her?
Maybe there's something else I could do? Let me prove that I'm a man you can love.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll take that. It's better than our outright no.
Maybe you should get going for now. I need to sleep.
Okay.
I'll leave her be. Should get some sleep myself.
Later.
Bye.
Something about the way she says my name. I cut her off, sorry. Sends a chill down my spine. It's not a pleasant sensation. It's not a feeling of elation or excitement. It's uncomfortable, disconcerting. I shrug it off and leave the factory. I have an uncannily vivid recollection of dragging Shizuko's corpse through the streets of the night she was killed. I had witnessed the collision. I watched speechless as the arsehole who ran her down drove away like a coward. It took me a while to gather the strength to collect her crumpled body from the asphalt. By then it was around 7 o'clock. The sun had set, but a sliver of light still peeked over the horizon, tinting the sky with an orange hue. People kept screaming at me. Wasn't doing anything wrong, wasn't trying to smear Shizuko's blood on the sidewalk. Just wanted to take her home. She was hurt or dead, no point leaving her in the middle of the road. She didn't comment on my suit, got all dressed up just for her. Didn't comment on the ring, even as I slipped it on her stiff finger. She didn't say a word about the size of the diamond. But she made a unique sound as we walked. It rings in my ears now and then, especially when I catch myself at quiet moments. Shriek. Didn't know what it was at the time. It punctured the silence between my heavy footsteps. Turns out the sound was caused by the fabric of her dress stretching and ripping against the coarse texture of the sidewalk. She made that sound for the entire journey home. My footsteps thud, thud, Shizuko shriek, shriek, people screaming, ah, kya! The cacophony of irritating noise assaulted us during the entire expedition. Silence didn't rear its head until we arrived at our destination. It wasn't easy getting her up the stairs to my apartment. I'd carried her in my arms dozens of times, always effortlessly, but during that final ascent, Shizuko's weight exceeded the limit of my muscles. Had no choice but to drag her up slowly, a single step at a time. Wasn't my fault her head cracked against every step. Once we were inside, I finally had the opportunity to examine the damage. Her limbs were flattened, her chest had caved in, ribs crushed and ground into a fine dust. Remarkably, her beautiful face remained unmarred. She looked at peace despite having died in pure agony not long before. And that was the last time I kissed her. I planted my lips on hers and found comfort in the sight warmth that still remained. And then I closed her eyes. My memory of that event is so clear that thinking about it feels like I'm reliving it again for the first time. The pain hasn't dulled, but I'm glad I don't live in the apartment anymore. Climbing those steps every day would only serve to remind me of dragging Shizuko behind me. I cut myself free from the chains that shackled me to her, but I can never destroy the memories. I think they'll haunt me to the end of my days. Perhaps that's why I'm so desperate to fill the void she left in my life. I'm desperate to distract myself with the love from another. And yet, at that time I didn't want to let her go. I wanted to hold her cold, lifeless corpse to my body and simply waste away so I could join her in the afterlife. In fact, I was so attached to her corpse that I did something I'd never done before, not once in all my history of toying with dead bodies. I decided to keep her. I don't know whether it was out of despair or desperation, or despair or depression or desperation. Don't truly know why I decided to do such an odd thing. Possessed by a single disturbing idea, I emptied out the small storage closet in that old apartment, discarded everything within. And then I carefully, delicately, lovingly placed Shizuko inside the dark space. She stood up against the wall almost casually, almost like she was alive. I held her in place with some rope fastened to the wall, a loop around her neck and a few bindings around her waist. She sagged a little, but it wasn't overly noticeable. There Shizuko stood before me. Though her gaze was lowered, I could almost fool myself into thinking she wanted to greet me. Or she wanted to simply say goodbye. Goodbye. Something I'd never considered saying to her. But I knew it was time to say goodbye to her and to say goodbye to myself, the me that shared a life with her. The me that lived in shame of the thing I'd done. Into that small storage room I piled the evidence of my guilt. All the macabre and sickening paraphernalia I had collected over the years found a new home within that dark space. Photos of corpses, tomes written about embalming and mummification, countless books by Nobel Sinclair, that author I held so dearly to my heart. Everything and everyone that made up Kojiro found itself inside that room. And with one last look at the girl, I slammed the door and locked it tight. I said she was in there. I said he was using her as a coat rack, but I said she was in there. The ceremonial act of locking away everything I'd once loved was a cathartic effect. But the moments after that aren't as clear in my mind. I know that I sealed up the room and concealed the door, but I don't recall the effort that went into doing so. I know that I decided to leave the apartment behind, but I don't recall talking to the landlord. I know that I tried to move on from being the person I once was, but... Oh! Noriko kept talking about a smell. Noriko can smell her! I don't know how much I truly changed. Because just over a year later, I'm still in this world, taking part in a truly disturbing acts. I'm still obsessed with the dead. And I'm still fawning over Noriko. Maybe people can't change after all. Maybe I've been fooling myself all this time into thinking that I'm different now. But I'm not. I'm the same as I always was. I'm still just Kojiro. Maybe that's okay.
Some good news for you.
Really? What is it?
A few new cadavers were in the morgue when I arrived tonight.
Ah!
Also, I was thinking...
What about?
something funny. We went to such lengths to make sure we didn't get caught stealing cadavers from here.
And?
Well, it's amusing that the entire place was ransacked by the human removal service, but no one ever investigated. No one here seemed to really care.
We tried so hard to cover our tracks, being careful about every single corpse we lifted. Then those assholes just waltzed in and stole everything without any repercussions.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe if you'd have reported it, you come in and say all these bodies are missing and unaccounted for, you report it to someone, you don't just go, huh, and then go and tell your friend. Kojiro.
It makes me sick. I want to bring them down.
The person who would have reported it is you, Kojiro.
Yeah.
Anyway, how many bodies came in today?
4. Not a great deal, but a start. Give it a week or two, and this place should be packed once more.
Okay, good. Thanks for letting me know.
Of course.
See you.
Later.
Since I've already catalogued the new arrivals, I figure I can relax for the rest of my shift. I plant myself on the uncomfortable steel chair parked next to the morgue's entryway. A few moments later, I'm lost within the flashing lights from my phone screen. Don't know how long I zoned out for, but when I come to, Noriko's name is emblazoned across my screen. Strange for her to call me now, since we spoke just before.
Yo.
You're not going to believe this.
Try me.
Somebody requested a death.
Ah, that explains the excitement in her voice.
Congrats. It's been a while.
It's been far too long. I thought we were done for. I thought Corpse Girl's website had fallen into obscurity.
Happy for you.
Kojiro, we can't let this slip through our fingers. We need a victory here. This new request has to be fulfilled immediately. I want this victim to die with a bang. I want his death to propel Corpse Girl's name back into the limelight.
Roger. Awaiting your orders.
I'm sending you the Vic's photo. Get me a corpse that matches his appearance, just like usual.
Only got a handful of bodies here, remember? Going to be a long shot.
Do whatever the fuck you have to do.
Her icy cold command leaves no room to be misinterpreted.
Copy that.
The call ends and I immediately receive a message from Noriko. Opening it up reveals the photo of Corpse Girl's latest victim. Male, mid-30s or so, fairly unremarkable guy. Let's see what bodies are in stock. I heave myself off to the steel chair and log into the morgue's computer. I was waiting for it to be a picture of him. Scanning through the inventory only takes a few seconds. There are 5 cadavers here in total, the 4 that arrived today, plus the Junpei Matsumoto lookalike. Looking through the details reveals that of the 5, 3 are female and 2 are male. I immediately rule out using the Junpei lookalike corpse for this request. It's a heavy-set body and doesn't match the victim at all. I'll need to take a look at the other male, but I don't like the odds of finding a match. I navigate to the cold chambers and open the cache holding the corpse in question. The cold air spewing forth from the open compartment fogs up my glasses. I calmly remove them, wipe them against my coat and return them to their rightful place. After unzipping the body bag, I am met with the face of death, a sight I have become more accustomed to after many long years working here. This guy is just an average looking as Corpse Girl's victim. Seems like the type of person you wouldn't notice in a crowd. He'd simply blur against the sea of bodies. Might be exactly what we need. I compare his features to those of the victim in the photo. He looks similar, couldn't exactly mistake him for a relative, but maybe with a bit of Noriko's makeup handiwork, he might pass off as a close enough copy. Only one problem. Unzipping the body bag further reveals that this guy only has one arm. His left arm has been severed just below the elbow, leaving a surgical stump. It's something that he clearly lived with for years because the area in question is clean. Probably had a prosthetic limb before being moved at the morgue. This particular feature is a deal breaker, too hard to convince the victim that this is his own corpse if it's missing a limb. Although, perhaps Noriko could factor the missing limb into the cause of death. If I bloodied the stump up a bit, it could be made to look like he lost an arm before he died. I reach for my phone and call Noriko back, getting sick of that chit-chat.
You find a suitable corpse?
Almost. Got a guy about the same age and build. Plain face. Needs some work, but could do the job.
Great! I'll send Tomoe over with the van right away.
Just one thing.
What?
The body is missing an arm.
Oh, that is a problem.
Yeah. Can you edit the corpse photo so that the victim is missing an arm? Make it look like it got chopped off before he died. That way, when he receives the actual corpse, he'll be expecting a missing limb.
No.
No?
I'm already in the middle of making the photo. I'm not changing it now.
Then I don't know what to tell you. Don't have any other suitable bodies.
Make it work, Kojiro.
That venomous tone again.
What can I do? Not going to roam the street and kill someone that looks like the Vic.
Come up with something else then. Hell, chop your own arm off and attach it to the corpse. I don't care what you do. But I need the body within the hour. If you let me down, I'll never be with you. Our relationship is tied to Corpse Girl's fate. If you let her down, you'll let me down.
Just change the photo. Oh, this is why I'm caring less and less about Noriko. I don't care what happens to her now. In fact, the more horrible thing that happens to her in this story, the better. From the beginning, where I just did not think much of Tomoe at all, now I'm like, as long as Tomoe's alright, everyone else can fuck off. Don't give a shit.
And I don't like being let down.
The phone beeps twice as if to protest Noriko abruptly ending the call.
Fantastic.
She likes backing me into corners. What am I supposed to do? It's clear that she doesn't really have any intention of being with me. She's using me, dangling the promise of something I desire right in front of me. And yet, I need to have her. I need to prove to her that she should be with me. I lower my glasses and gently rub my brow with my fingers.
Shit.
I've got an idea. But I can't believe I'm about to do this. I slide my glasses back up and adjust them so they're comfortable once more. I fetch the mobile mortuary lift and angle it underneath the tray protruding from the open cold chamber. With a great deal of effort, I detach the tray from the chamber. It rests upon the top of the mortuary lift, allowing me to wheel the corpse across the morgue. After pushing it halfway across the open room, I let the wheels come to a stop directly underneath one of the ceiling's glaring fluorescent lights. With that done, I turn and rummage around in a cabinet. I sort through a number of tools until I find what I'm looking for. Clutching the sterile implement in shaking hand, I return to the corpse lying atop the steel tray. I roll up the sleeves of my coat.
For Noriko. Here goes.
He's not actually cutting off his arm. Oh my god! He's actually cutting off his own. He's cutting off his right arm. Kojiro, you're a twat. When the metal bone saw digs into the soft flesh of my arm, I have to grit my teeth to refrain from screaming. I angle the blade so that it cuts away from my elbow. Need to leave that intact. The cutting process is pure agony. To prevent myself from passing out, I keep my breathing steady and try to focus on something simple. Something my brain can handle while aflame with pain. I begin to count 1, 2, 3. I count the seconds that it takes for the jagged metal saw to reach bone. 15, 16. Still just flesh and muscle and blood spurting down my coat. 20, 21. I think I reach sinew after 24 seconds, but it's hard to tell because there's terrible numbness and it's somehow worse than the original searing agony. My fingers clutching the saw begin to slip due to perspiration. It's getting harder to even hold the tool. After some 32 odd seconds, the saw hits bone. I slide it back and forth, cutting into the dense matter with as much strength as my failing body can muster. Vomit and drool have soaked the front of my coat and began to smear together with the blood. It's forming a shallow pool at my feet, and the stench of the mixing liquids threatens to overwhelm my senses. Counting the seconds has become infinitely more difficult. 43, 44, 4, 30. Was it 21 seconds so far? No, it's been longer than that. It has to have been a minute by now. I've been sawing into my own arm for a full minute, but the blade still hasn't cut through all of the bone. Don't recall when I fell to my knees. Don't recall when I stood back up. Don't recall running my slimy fingers through my hair, or when flecks of blood splattered against my glasses, or when my bladder relieved itself. Don't even recall why I'm doing this. Is it for Shizuko? Is it because I love her? No. Noriko. It's for Noriko, actually. It's for Corpse Girl. I have to prove I'm worthy of her. I have to be loved by her. There's nothing else for me. 97, 98. As my count reaches 99 seconds, my right arm falls to the wet tiled floor, flopping like a dead fish against the deck of a boat. I let out a groan of what can only be called relief and slump in on myself, resting in the pool of foul liquid. My vision is blurry, my breathing is ragged. The sane part of my consciousness knows that I need to treat my wound. I need to apply a tourniquet or cauterize the damage, or I'm just going to bleed out and die on the floor of my own morgue. But a quiet voice in my mind, the very same one that drove me to such an extreme measure, urges me to finish my work. Getting to my feet is a struggle. I try to push myself up off the ground using both arms, but of course, I fall flat on my face when my right arm fails to react to my mental instructions. I think the lenses in my glasses smashed against the tiles because my eyes seem to be bleeding now. A second attempt at pushing off the ground is more successful. My left arm is somehow strong enough to hoist my barely responsive body. I sway and stagger around aimlessly before collecting myself enough to attempt to fish my severed arm off the ground. Luckily, I managed to grasp the blood and vomit-soaked wrist of my former limb with one good hand. I drag myself towards the mortuary lift that holds aloft the corpse I need to attach my arm to. But I didn't think this through. Really? Kojiro? Really? I don't really know how to attach a severed limb. I bludgeon the corpse's stump with my useless arm, trying to find some point of connection that will magically fuse the limb to the corpse. It's hopeless. And as I madly flail the arm around, I can't help but laugh at the whole situation. Of course I can't attach my arm to the corpse. The corpse is missing its left arm. Oh, you moron! I even commented that it was your right arm. You moron! You didn't even check! You didn't even check! He didn't even check! This is... Oh my god! Yeah, it is fucking funny, you idiot!
Good one.
I throw my useless detached arm behind me and rest my weary body against the mortuary lift. You can't cut off your other arm, you've got nothing to cut it with! Accompanying my laughter is the laughter of somebody else nearby. I have to listen really intently to confirm that I'm not just hallucinating. But I'm certain that somebody just walked into my line of vision, even if they are nothing more than a dark blurred silhouette.
Oh, bro, you don't look so hot.
It's Junpei!
What'd you do, cut off your own arm?
I know the voice, but I can't place it right now. It's not my voice, and it's not Noriko's voice.
Want me to take the pain away?
Yes, please. I'd give anything to remove the pain. I can't voice my consent, my mouth is dry, my jaw locked in place.
Here, nothing a little fire can't fix.
The figure comes closer. He smells foul, like a dog that is bathed in gasoline. A dog. The heavy-set figure that I now assume is Junpei Matsumoto is crouched over me. The smell of gasoline intensifies as he pours some sort of cold liquid all over my clothes.
Kitty, I gotta light this place up. But you guys didn't get the hint when we stole all of your corpses. Well, you ain't gonna be nothing without your precious morgue. And Corpse Girl is gonna wither away without her right-hand man. Right hand. Get it, Kojimbo?
The way he deliberately mispronounces my name really bothers me. It bothers me so much that the anger boiling inside me gives me the strength to open my mouth once more.
It's Kojiro. Sure, bro. Sleep tight.
The dog lifts his body and disappears into oblivion beyond my sight. The unmistakable sound of a match being struck should fill me with panic, but I feel strangely calm. Warm, glowing tendrils of flame flicker around the outskirts of my vision. Fire. The entire morgue is alight. The acrid smell of smoke quickly covers up the odour of gasoline. Fire. I lost my family to fire so many years ago. Maybe it's fitting that I should perish in the same way. Fire. I hate fire. I hate it and fear it. Fire. It's everywhere, surrounding me. The sickening stench of burning flesh permeates my nostrils, and I realise that it's the smell of my severed arm being incinerated beneath me. Fire. I close my eyes. Really sleepy right now. Lost a lot of blood after all.
Sorry, Noriko. Sorry I loved you.
Act 2 complete. I just got the achievement for completing Act 2. Moron cut off the wrong arm. Okay. One month. Okay. Right. We are going to take a pee break. My drink is actually still pretty good. Don't need a refill yet. But do get a drink and have a pee, but don't drink the pee. I am going to leave you with Pet Cam while I have a little break. And then we can jump into Act 3. Kojiro is dead. And also a moron. God. Cut off the wrong arm. Okay. He cut the wrong arm. Okay, back in a bit. So, I was ready to go, but I could hear Topanga going, oh, there's food, there's food, there's food. So I wanted to wait to catch her on camera going into the gate. Topanga and her auntie are eating some as well. Everybody got a bit of lettuce. So, we are with Owie now. Act 3. Oh, I'm so mad. I really wish I could scream at him. I really, really, really want to scream. But he's one of my best customers. I just wish he would take the rules seriously.
He said no free refills.
The squeak of my voice surprises even me. Gosh, I've never yelled at a customer before. It feels so liberating. I feel free. The customer hangs his head. He looks as guilty as I feel on the inside. Oh gosh, I shouldn't have raised my voice at him. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I'm gonna get fired for this. I just know it.
Sorry, Miss Owie. I'll never ask again, I promise.
Make sure you don't.
That's it. Don't let him see you back down. Be firm, girl. Stand up for yourself. The customer scurries away and I nearly faint from the adrenaline pounding through me. What a rush. I can't believe I didn't back down.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
When I feel like I've calmed down, I fetch a cloth and begin to wipe down some tables. This place hasn't been too busy lately. I still shake when I think about the incident last month that drove away a lot of our customers. That man, that tall, scary man with glasses and an evil face. He hurt my sweet little Junpei. He cornered him in this very cafe and stabbed his fingers with cutlery. What kind of sick freak does such a thing? I know there's something between those two. I can't ever forget the time that man left Junpei all bruised and broken on the ground outside his apartment. Grr. I hate that man. Who does he think he is, bullying my sweetheart? A pleasant little chime rings out from my pocket, and I recognise it as the notification I sent to let me know when the cafe is closing.
Phew. Guess I better get going.
Luckily for me, I'm not on closing duty tonight. My co-workers will take care of all that. All I need to do is sign out of the employee app on my phone and my full shift will be automatically recorded. Then I'll get paid on time just like usual.
Bye, everyone.
I wave farewell to the other girls and duck out the front door. She didn't change out the maid outfit. She hates, allegedly, hates that job and the costume that they make her wear, but she then goes out in her social life outside of work, still wearing it. As usual, my cute little honeybee is waiting outside.
Sup, baby doll?
Junpei,
I rush into his arms and give him a big, snuggly cuddle.
I'm so happy to see you.
Of course, babe. I'm always here for you. How was your shift?
Not so bad.
Glad to hear it. Guess things really have changed around here.
Yep. It's so much better since the old manager left.
Good, good. You come tell Junpei if anyone else gives you trouble, yeah?
I will.
I nuzzle into his broad chest once more and immediately feel safe and warm.
Can I come back to your place?
Yes.
He holds my hand and leads me towards the train station. I'm so excited to be with him again.
Would you like tea, my dear?
Whoa now, Sugar Plum. You've been serving drinks to people all day. You go kick your feet up and I'll do the brewing.
Junpei is so thoughtful. Every word he says makes it clear how much he cares for me.
Thank you.
I heed his instructions and nestle myself comfortably into the sofa. As I wait for him to finish up in the kitchen, I scroll through my noise feed. I don't have that many friends on here, mainly just family members, but I still like to see what everybody is up to lately. Plus Junpei always shares funny memes and pips on his profile, so I love seeing those. After scrolling for a minute, I come across a status update from my friend I haven't heard from in a while. Noriko Kurosawa. No Kurosawa 2 hours ago. Hey, 3.
What does that mean?
Her entire post is short and meaningless. It just says, Hey 3. What on earth could she mean by that? When was the last time I talked to Noriko anyway? She used to call me all the time. I used to call her too. But somewhere along the line we fell out of touch. After I introduced her to Junpei, I kind of got the feeling she was jealous. Noriko always had feelings for me. Maybe being introduced to my boyfriend really hurt her. Oh, now I feel terrible.
Your tea, my love!
Junpei sets down 2 teacups on the small coffee table in front of the sofa. Steam rises slowly from both cups. The sight and scent immediately relaxes me.
Thank you, Pumpkin.
Junpei scoots onto the sofa right next to me and he leans his head onto my shoulder. I raise a hand and run it through his hair as I continue scrolling through noise with my other hand. A post from a guy I went to school with, Shinya Fujikawa, grabs my attention. Shinya with a capital S, 5 hours ago. One step closer to solving the mystery of the deaths around Tokyo. Helping my father, Senior Detective Fujikawa, collect evidence from the crime scenes. It's like a dream come true. Thank you, Father. Interesting. I think Shinya always wanted to be a detective. Come to think of it, we were supposed to work together at Chemujin. Shinya lined up that job for me and I...
Who's this dude?
Junpei's gaze is fixed on Shinya's profile picture.
Oh, Shinya?
I tap on his pic and load his full profile.
We went to school together.
I scan through his profile and read some more of his recent posts. My father has enlisted me to help with his top secret investigation. Can't divulge any further information. My lips are sealed. Top secret. So happy that I managed to get a lead on the case. I submitted some information to the detective in charge of the serial murders around Tokyo, who just happens to also be my father, and he said I can join the investigation team as a probationary member.
This guy has a real father complex, doesn't he?
Maybe.
No one tells you what to expect when you experience heartbreak. No one tells you how hollow and empty you will feel. It's important to throw yourself into your work, and I will do so.
Heartbreak? Something about this dude tells me he's never had a girlfriend in his life.
Huh. I wonder...
Oh, did he break up with Tomoe? Farewell, my love. I'm so sorry I couldn't be the man you wanted me to be. To Tomori, once I'll be my soulmate, my other half, my one and everything. Please forgive me.
Jeez, have some dignity, dude.
Wow. He really likes to share everything, doesn't he? I swear, he never used to be this dramatic.
Junpei yawns and puts his arm around me, a classic move. He's so sweet and romantic. I put my phone down and snuggle into his body. He's like a big soft teddy bear.
I should get going once I finish this cup of tea.
Really? Do you have to go?
Yeah, sorry, babe. I gotta check in on Mom tonight.
Oh, okay.
You'll be okay, right?
The thought of being alone forms a pit in my stomach.
Don't worry, I'll help you out before I leave.
Thank you.
Junpei takes on one last sip of his tea, gets to his
I'll
feet.
check the usual stuff.
Yes, please.
He walks behind the sofa and ruffles my hair with his rough hand. The bandages wrapped around his fingers feel coarse against my scalp. As he wanders around my small apartment, he calls out for me.
Oven and stovetop are both switched off. The kitchen tap is off, no drips.
He moves into the bathroom and his voice echoes against the tiled wall.
Tap is off in here too. And the shower is off.
Finally, he moves to the front door.
I'll lock this door properly when I walk out. You just have to put the deadbolt in place, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Anytime, sugar. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
Love.
With that, Junpei walks out the door and closes it behind him. I quickly dash from the sofa to the door and slide the deadbolt into place.
All done. The door is locked. The door is locked. The door is locked.
I take a deep breath and tiptoe back to the sofa, then collapse onto it. Junpei is so good to me. He truly helps me out. When I'm alone, I find it so hard to be sure that everything is in order. I can't sleep or leave the apartment if there's a possibility that I've left a tap running or an appliance switched on. I can't relax if I think the door might be unlocked. I have to check things again and again and again until there's no shadow of a doubt that things are the way they should be. I don't remember when this obsessive compulsive behaviour first started, but I've been battling it for as long as I can recall. At the very least, when Junpei is here, he checks everything for me. He's so good to me. It saves me so much time. It stops me from having to stand in front of the kitchen sink for 5 minutes, constantly checking and double checking if the tap is running. Logically, I know it's easy to see if water is flowing from the faucet. You can see it, you can hear it, and you can feel it if you slip your hand underneath the flow. But logic rarely applies when I find myself second-guessing my own senses. I can glance at the faucet and tell myself that it's been turned off properly, it's not dripping. But when I turn away, what if I'm wrong? What if it's actually still running? I feel like my mind is betraying me. I feel like I can't trust anything I see or hear. When in doubt, it should be a simple matter of just quickly checking one more time. But the more I check, the less certain I become. And it's just not the faucet I have trouble dealing with. It's nearly everything. I unplug appliances from the power sockets to make sure they're definitely not still running. I flick light switches on and off 20 times in a row to ensure I haven't left a bulb on when I leave a room. I open and close doors repeatedly. The locks are the worst. I have to examine them from every possible angle to convince myself that no one can possibly break in. My condition is completely and utterly fucked up. Struggling against it has caused other horrible afflictions to evolve inside me: anxiety, depression, self-hatred. I just feel like I can't do anything without the shadow of my compulsive behaviours looming over me and controlling me. And so tonight, like many other nights, I decide to sleep right where I am, here on the sofa. Getting up and going into my bedroom is too much effort. Sleeping where I am is just much easier. I began to drift off, my face planted against the sofa cushion, my legs draped over the armrest. I'm thankful I don't have to work at the maid cafe today. My neck is a little sore from a terrible night's sleep, but I won't let that get me down. It's Monday, the start of a fresh, brand new week. I've got loads of exciting things to look forward to. For starters, I'm expecting a delivery of some items I ordered online over the weekend. It's mostly snack food, but I still can't wait. Secondly, I'll get to see my Junpei again this afternoon. I'm going to go meet him when he finishes work. Third, my favourite anime airs on Monday nights. There's a new episode every week. Well, except for when they run repeats after a season has just finished. Junpei loves anime so much, as I do. Granted, he's not into my favourite series. He says it's a little too girly, but he likes a lot of other shows. We have so much fun discussing characters and stories we like, even if the shows he watches scare me a little bit. Yes, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good week. My upbeat mood is instantly shattered when Noriko Kurosawa's name lights up on my phone screen. She's calling me? We haven't spoken in so long. Why? What does she want from me? Noriko, she's such a chore. She whines and complains so much about her life, but she doesn't know how good she has it. So what if she's scared of leaving her apartment? Agoraphobia isn't that bad. I'm scared of everything. Everything. She's so selfish, thinking she's the only one who has it rough. I'm so tired of tiptoeing around her feelings and her stupid sensitivities.
Hello, Aoi? Hi, Noriko. Hey, listen, I know it's been a while, but can I stay at your place for a few days? I got booted out of my apartment for not paying the rent, and, well, I was living in this abandoned factory, but I can't do it anymore. I hate being there alone. The guy I was spending time with just disappeared, and now, Aoi? Are you there?
Is this crazy bitch for real? She hasn't spoken to me for weeks, months, and now she wants to live in my apartment?
Aoi? Sorry, Noriko. You can't stay here. Well, fuck you too.
My phone beeps twice and the call abruptly ends. What the hell is her problem? Before I can even blink, she calls me again. I'm hesitant to answer this time, but...
Noriko? Sorry, I overreacted. I think I'm in trouble. I think Corpse Girl is trying to kill me, and I need somewhere safe to stay.
Corpse Girl is trying to kill her? I think Noriko has finally lost the plot. Whatever sliver of sanity she once held on to has finally slipped between her fingers.
Noriko, Corpse Girl isn't trying to kill you. What? How would you know? You are Corpse Girl. Remember?
She just knows. Mind you, Noriko has been an absolute shit show of a shambles. She has done nothing to try and cover this up.
What? How do you? I'm the one who wants to kill you. I'm going to fucking murder you in your sleep.
Noriko's silence convinces me that her memory is returning. Perhaps she called me in some delirious state, or because some fever dream.
Shit.
The call disconnects as she curses. That stupid bitch, did she seriously forget who she was talking to? I've had it up to here with her. As soon as Junpei works out the location of her factory, I'm going to go there myself and slit her throat open with my fingernails. I'll let her bleed out onto all over me and tell her that she never meant a thing to me. I don't care how much she loves me. I'll end her life quickly before she has a chance to confess her feelings with one last gasping, dying breath. Once Noriko is dead, the human removal service will no longer have any competition. And I'll finally be able to take her place as Corpse Girl. But she was the only character it could be. During our school years, I was always envious of Noriko. She was so beautiful, so slim and graceful, and she had a wonderful family, parents that loved her more than anything. I never had any of that. I wanted so badly to be her. I struggled with my weight back then, but it wasn't the worst of it. I had an abusive mother and a father that essentially ignored my existence, well until he killed me by splitting my neck open. I would have given anything to trade places with Noriko and feel alive again. It didn't matter to me that Noriko complained about every aspect of her life. She moaned about how much she despised her delinquent sister. She griped about how her father walked out on her but still sent her birthday card every year. She lamented over the time her mother tried to kill herself in front of her and her sister, how her mother hung from the ceiling barely alive for hours and hours until Eureka figured out how to call for an ambulance. But I would have taken all of that trauma over my own upbringing. I'd have traded my life for hers without a second thought. Noriko had no idea how lucky she was. Even after all these years, I never really overcame my envy of her. I even went so far as to request her death through Corpse Girl's website. Ah, it was you! At least we get an answer to that, and they didn't just forget that that was a thing that happened. Of course she didn't die. How could she have? Junpei figured it out before I did. He forced his way into Corpse Girl's website and viewed all of the death requests. Someone, Noriko, had placed a comment on the request I submitted. A single line of text never intended to be seen by other eyes. That's me, bitch. Knowing that she had become Corpse Girl made my jealousy grow. I wanted to take her place, wanted people to fear me just like they feared her. I wanted any other life, anything that would let me escape my own hellish half-existence. Thanks to trawling through her website, Junpei soon figured out the whole thing was essentially a hoax. Corpse Girl had no ability to cause death. Noriko was simply trying to con people into ending their own lives. It was pathetic. It made me laugh. I decided I would play along with Noriko's delusions in order to ensure her downfall. It's finally time. I get to meet Junpei at the station and walk him home. Yay! The Noise Corporation office is within walking distance from Shinjuku train station. Getting there is a breeze. Junpei works on the 30th floor of a massive office complex. He's one of the top dogs. He's worked really hard to get where he is. I'm so proud of him. It's kind of funny to think that I almost got a job near here. The Tremujin building is so close to Junpei's office. Noriko and Shinya hooked me up, but I completely bailed on them. Oh well, at that time I had no idea the love of my life worked nearby. I think I'm right on time, so Junpei should be here any second. As I wait patiently, a familiar-looking girl climbs the stairs and wanders past me. Her outfit is kind of unprofessional. I wonder if she's an office employee. She looks a bit like a troublemaker. Where have I seen her before? She caught me staring at her. Oh no, she's walking toward me.
Hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
No time to run away, she's right in front of me.
Yeah, you're Noriko's friend, right? Aoi?
Noriko's friend? Everything always about that fucking Noriko.
Yes, and you are?
The brash girl swoops her hair out of her face and leers at me.
Tomoe, a friend of hers as well.
Oh,
I suddenly remember where I've seen Tomoe before. I think she was in some of Shinya's photos. Is she the girl that Shinya was dating and broke up with?
how is Noriko?
Dunno. Was hoping you could tell me. Haven't seen that skank in weeks.
I see. I haven't seen her either.
Righto. Well, I'll see you around.
Just like that, the girl brushes past me and doesn't even look back. I watch her as she wanders along the platform.
Yo, babe!
Oh, Junpei.
What up, doll? Hey, that chick you were just talking to? She works at Tamuchin. I see her walking around here all the time. She's the one I told you about.
Wait, that's her?
Yup. She used to help that Kojiro asshole deliver putties for Corpse Girl. I've been waiting for ages to introduce you to. Oh!
I nod at Junpei and immediately break into a run.
Go get her, babe.
Junpei's cheers fade as I leave him behind. Tomoe, she's the one helping Noriko, helping Corpse Girl. We've been waiting for a chance to follow her. Junpei has been keeping an eye on her, but her actions and movements are erratic and hard to predict. But today, I fortunately have the opportunity to follow her. She's connected to so many people. Noriko, Kojiro, Shinya, they're all involved with Corpse Girl's operation. We want to track them all down one by one and cremate them like cadavers. Of course, I'm saving Noriko for last. I'll slice her open and bathe in her blood and be born again from her corpse. I'll assume her identity and live her life and leave my own painful existence behind. I'll race along as fast as my legs will let me, my feet pound against the train platform, and several people passing by stop to watch me out of curiosity. As long as Tomoe doesn't notice I'm tailing her, then I don't care who sees me. I follow her all the way to the end of the platform, then I blend into the crowd as we board the same train. I knock on the door to where I can only assume is Tomoe's apartment. She answers after just a moment and shoots me a quizzical look. As soon as the door is all the way open, I dash forward and slam into Tomoe with the full force of my tiny body.
Fuck!
We tumble onto the apartment, though Tomoe doesn't even lose her balance. She's a lot bulkier than I am. She absorbs most of the impact and manages to remain standing.
Ah!
She grits her teeth and plants her hands on my shoulders, only to push me back with a mighty shove.
Fuck are you playing at? He just tackled me!
I swing a fist at her face. She catches me off guard when she sidesteps my punch and brings her knee up to my gut. I reel back, but the injury doesn't bother me.
Take that, you dumb skank! I'll teach you to attack me! I don't care if you're Noriko's friend! I'll put you in the fucking ground!
Her long, fake nails rake across my face and blood pours from my torn skin. But I stand firm again and stare her down.
You're allied with Corpse Girl, right?
Is that what this is about? I don't give a shit about all that anymore. It's all behind me.
You know Corpse Girl's identity?
Of course I do. Why? Are you curious? Got someone you want to have killed?
No. I know that it's Noriko.
You're damn right. I should have guessed that a friend of hers would be just as psychotic. Noriko can go fuck herself for all I care. I'm done with her shit.
So am I. I'm going to kill her.
Tomoe raises an eyebrow.
That so? Well, she kinda has it coming.
I see.
Corpse Girl is done and dusted. Doubt the public even remembers her these days. It's all about the human removal service. Noriko's just Noriko now. But I still won't forgive her for what she did to Kojiro.
What is she talking about? Does she know something I don't?
What happened to Kojiro?
Do you even know who he is?
I do.
You warned me about her, you know? He said she'd discard us as soon as we weren't useful anymore. Sure enough, she had him killed. Fucking burned him alive.
Interesting. Tomoe thinks Noriko killed Kojiro when in reality, Junpei took care of that freak. He burned the entire morgue down around him. I suppose Kojiro's death caused Noriko and Tomoe's relationship to fall apart. Everything worked out better than Junpei planned.
Noriko will die, and so will you for your role in helping her.
Oh, come on. Why are you so insistent on messing with me? I ain't never done nothing to you. Hang on.
Even though this girl exudes an air of stupidity, I didn't expect her to actually be this dense. Surely she figured out by now.
Are you with the human removal service?
I don't say anything.
You're kidding me. You're the one Noriko has been fighting against this whole time. And you're her best friend.
Your point?
Are you the leader of your little group?
No.
Right.
When Tomoe pauses to brush her hair beneath her ear, I strike. My hand darts forward and grips her throat, and I begin to crush it between my fingers. The girl kicks and flails. She beats her fist against my outstretched arm, but I don't flinch. Her gurgling and thrashing brings me no joy. I wish people would simply accept their fate. Despite how tightly I'm squeezing her throat, she manages to form the beginning of a word. I can only guess that she's trying to call for Shinya. Shinya, the idiot boy she's already broke up with. He can't save her now. I tighten my grip and stride forward, pushing Tomoe back and pinning her against the wall. She kicks out at me and hits me directly in the knee. I refuse to buckle. Her fingers continuously claw at my arm, slashing into my flesh and sending flecks of blood across the room. She thinks she can hurt me, thinks she can fight her way out of her fate. But nothing she does will ever injure me. You can't hurt the dead. This thought repeats in my mind as my face crashes into the floor. A ringing sound in my ears causing me to question what happened. The residual shockwaves of a dull impact to my skull flow through my head. I wouldn't call it pain or even an ache, just the sensation that something collided with me. But I'm already on the floor, my lips pressed against the hardwood, my eyes twitching and examining shards of pottery falling to the floor around me. A blanket of darkness descends over me and I hear the ragged sound of Tomoe breathing and someone's voice asking, "Are you okay?" But the question isn't directed at me. I don't think anyone cares that I'm lying here in my own blood. I can't count how many movies I've seen where the characters claim they've had an out-of-body experience. I've heard the stories in real life too. People on the brink of death or unconsciousness tell tales of how they could view their own body from a lofty spiritual perch. I never put much stock into such nonsense. How can someone dead or dying view the world with any form of clarity? When I died all those years ago, I didn't experience any such thing. It was kind of disappointing, even though I didn't expect much. Being clubbed across the head in Tomoe's apartment was a completely different experience than the time glass shards pierced my neck. I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of consciousness, writhing around on the hard floor. I can see some light, some blurred shapes, and I can see my body down below, my body delicate and frail and slowly decaying. I don't get it. Why would I have an out-of-body experience now of all times? I sure as hell didn't experience anything of the sort when my father slit my neck. So why now? I wonder if any of my victims ever suffered from hallucinations like this before dying. Did Kotomi Aida and all those people on the train platform experience this after I cut them open? Did they also helplessly look down on their own bodies from above as the train screeched past? Emi Katsuno, boy did she scream when I pushed her over the balcony railing. Did her spirit leave her body and look down on her splattered corpse? What about the other nameless souls I've claimed from Noriko's website? So, she says she pushed Emi, but we saw that from Emi's perspective in the prologue, and she decided to do it. So was the prologue an unreliable narrator? Because the prologue was Emi. That's going to need to be explained, otherwise that's really bad writing. You don't get to have a first person perspective of something and then say, yeah, that never happened as a third person. That's going to need explaining, otherwise that's really bad writing. I see you, Rogue. I see you. Rogue's having a drink of water. Rogue says hydrate. Okay. Did her spirit leave her body and look down on her spattered corpse? What about the other nameless souls I've claimed from Noriko's website? There have been so many bodies piled up, countless gifts pledged in Corpse Girl's name. I didn't kill them because I wanted to shed blood. I did it to delude Noriko. That was the goal at the start anyway. Noriko never caught on to what I was doing. She took all the credit, thinking she was some all-powerful being in control of the fate of her victims. She never even tried to understand the truth. I slaved away for her, cutting and strangling and slashing and slicing. I piled up bodies for Noriko, but Corpse Girl claimed all the kills. It was a pointless endeavour. I think she would have spiralled into madness even without the power trip. I suppose it doesn't matter now. Things have changed. My only focus now is to kill Noriko. I should have done so right at the start. I'll kill her for wasting my time. As I look down on my body below, I see a girl too scared to go on, too scared to struggle anymore. It's a shame. If I wasn't killed years ago, I might have had the chance to live a normal life. Well, there's nothing else for it. I feel my spirit returning to my body. It's a strange sensation because I know I'm not returning to life. How could I? I've been dead far too long. My only chance is to claim Noriko's life for my own. I'll become her and discard this rotting, walking corpse. Oh, it's all double visiony. I can hardly see without my glasses. Everything is blurry, foggy, lacking a solid outline. Colours bleed into other colours. Blue blends into purple and yellow melds into brown. It doesn't help that I'm partially colourblind. Never had much luck telling red and green apart anyway. Oh! The colours, the words were the wrong colour. That's really clever. Without my glasses, I'm practically blind.
You're
helpless.
finally awake. Fucking skank.
She spits at me and her filthy saliva drips down the side of my face. It's warm. I try to lash out at her only to find my arms have been bound to my side. I try to scream out, but my mouth is gagged with what I can only assume is a sock. I try to lunge forward, but I'm strapped tightly to a wooden chair I'm sitting in.
I can't believe this. This is so strange. I just...
Shut up, Shinya. Jeez.
Sorry.
The blurred forms of Tomoe and Shinya are pacing the room. Even without my full vision, I can tell that the room is bright. Sunlight is pouring in from the open window. Just how much time passed since I was knocked unconscious? And why have they tied me up here? I scream into the mouth gag, something loud enough to capture their attention. Tomoe strides towards me and pulls the damp sock from my mouth.
What? What do you want?
I mumble something about being unable to see. Tomoe swears, stumbles around for a bit, and then forcefully pushes my glasses onto my face.
What are you going to do to me?
I don't know. That's up to this genius.
Her arm gestures towards Shinya, a pointed finger loaded with accusation.
Me? Look, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I just saw you were in trouble, so...
Why are you here anyway? We're done. Over.
I wanted to see you.
Ah!
I'm not in the mood for their lovers' quarrel.
Let me go. Or bury me. Either way, don't keep me here.
You nearly killed me, bitch! It's taken all my strength not to murder you right here!
Go ahead. Try it. You can't kill the dead.
You're a freak.
Let me call my father. I'm sure he can take her in for questioning. He can find out her motives for attacking you.
I already know why she attacked me. She's trying to take down everyone associated with
Tomoe cuts herself short.
No.
I wonder, is Shinya not privy to Tomoe's relationship with Corpse Girl? Intriguing. As Tomoe's former boyfriend, I simply assumed he was part of the operation. I thought he was an accomplice. If he doesn't know anything, then I don't need to kill him. One less person to deal with before I go after Noriko. However, I need to focus on getting out of here first.
If you let me go, I'll never bother you again.
A lie.
Why should I believe you? You followed me to my frickin' home!
I'm sorry.
Lie.
Then I'll exchange information for my release. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Lie, lie, lie.
Like I care! I'm done with all the shit between Noriko and you!
Noriko? Has she got something to do with this?
Shut up, Shinya!
Shinya. Perhaps he's my ticket out of here. I turn my head to him and wait until he looks directly at me.
Shinya, I'm so thirsty. Can I have some water?
He pauses, but since Tomoe doesn't interfere, he ducks out of sight. He returns within seconds holding half-filled cup to me.
Here.
I bob forward as best I can against my restraints and take a sip of the lukewarm tap water.
Thank you.
It's worth noting how easy he is to manipulate. He's the complete opposite of my Junpei, who is strong and independent and doesn't let anyone mess with him.
So, about my offer, will you let me go if I share information about the human removal service?
Shinya's face turns pale.
The human removal service? That's...
I really couldn't care less about all of that. I told you, I'm done with everything.
I see.
Tomoe. She might have information that can assist with my investigation. We have to accept her offer.
Oh, please. You're no cop as much as you fancy pretending to be one.
I already told you that Father accepted me as part of the investigation team.
You're a hack, a wannabe.
Why can't you just be happy for me?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Tomoe storms off, the sheer force of her anger causing the walls to tremble. Shinya and I are alone in the room. I don't waste another second.
Shinya, I don't know everything that's going on, but it sounds like you're trying to solve the murder cases, right?
That's right. I'm really helping the investigation team, you know?
That's good. Very good. Please, I have information that might help you. Will you let me go if I share it with you?
His nervous eyes dart around, searching for any sign of Tomoe's presence. And then he looks me dead in the eyes and says the very last thing I ever expected to hear.
I'll let you go if you help me kill Noriko Kurosawa.
Everybody wants Noriko dead!
This is your apartment?
Yes.
Please forgive me for intruding.
Shinya bows politely and removes his shoes. He places them carefully in front of the doorstep and takes a stride forward. He takes a good look around before turning to me.
You have a nice place.
Oh please, I wish you would cut the formalities. We're here to discuss serious business. He's acting like we're new co-workers or something. I walk over to the door and make sure it's fully closed. I slide the deadbolt into place.
The door is locked.
I whisper this under my breath so Shinya can't hear me.
The door is locked.
Repeating phrases like this has become a sort of mantra. It helps me concentrate. When I'm about 90% sure the door is actually locked, I wander back to Shinya. It takes all of my willpower to refrain from turning back and checking once more. Thankfully, Shinya's distracts me from my inner turmoil.
Is everything you told me true? I want to make sure I have all the facts straight.
Yes, it's true. All of it.
Truth, intermingled with lies, is still the truth, right? I lucked out when Tomoe left the two of us alone in her apartment. If I'd had to explain things to her, I would have had to give her inside information on the Human Removal Service's operations. Anything less could have clashed with her existing knowledge and caused her to doubt me. But, since I only had to explain things to Shinya, I had already determined that Shinya wasn't in the loop, so I concocted a convincing lie in order to secure his cooperation. And he bought it.
Just want to get my head around it. Noriko Kurosawa is Corpse Girl. She's the one that was behind the initial string of murders across the city. She delivered photos and corpses to her victims in order to convince them that they would die soon. And that had the effect of causing people to kill themselves. Almost a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Of course, all of this part is true, kind of. Shinya doesn't need to know that I acted behind the scenes and bought the victims low by my own hand. Those acts of violence almost seem like a distant memory now. I was so committed to aiding Noriko that I couldn't think of anything else. In the end, my assistance didn't help my own situation. I only propelled Noriko's ego into the stars and continued to suffer my cursed half-existence.
But it wasn't long before another group started killing people in much the same way as Noriko did. A group called the Human Removal Service. They've killed hundreds, if not thousands of people in the past months.
Again, all true, so far.
You were enslaved by Noriko? Forced against your will to infiltrate the Human Removal Service and bring them down from the inside?
That's right.
Huh. He's a fucking idiot.
That explains why you want to kill Noriko. You want to be free from her. Even if it isn't exactly the legal thing to do.
Legal? What kind of pedestal is this guy standing on? He specifically requested assistance to do the exact same thing. He wants Noriko dead, just like I do.
If I remember correctly, you only managed to learn one important thing about the Human Removal Service, right?
Yes.
The group is made up of dozens of members. Dozens of people that all masquerade as the leader, known as the Herald. There's no single person responsible for the murders. It's the joint effort of a large group, all striking across the city simultaneously. Am I correct?
And there's the real kicker. He's absolutely spot on. I didn't mind sharing this tidbit of information with him. It does nothing to assist with his investigation. And wrapping the lie that I was Noriko's lackey in a blanket of truth makes everything all the more convincing.
Yes. That's right.
Phew, okay. I think I understand everything.
I did, when I was saying about how to kill Noriko, have the Herald instruct all the followers to request her death through Corpse Girl, and then when she doesn't die, all the followers have all the information and know what she looks like, and would then go after her. And it would be the best way to kill her as the Herald. And then it looked like, oh, it was just a two-person operation, but this is what I originally thought, that it's loads and loads of people all doing it, with one person controlling all of them. Phew, okay, I think I understand everything, is what he said, before I started yammering on.
Thank you for your help.
There's one thing I'm not entirely comfortable about. Shinya hasn't been forthcoming with his reason for wanting Noriko dead. If I don't air the question, I feel like he will never address it.
Can you tell me why you want to kill Noriko?
He tries to back away from the question by twiddling his thumbs and pretending to examine the nearby wall.
Shinya, we need to know. Otherwise, how can I trust you?
Trust. It's a word that has always made me laugh. How can I trust anybody? I couldn't even trust my own parents, the people who swore to raise and protect me. My mother hit me when I misbehaved, when I overslept by 5 minutes or raised my voice ever so slightly. I was a child. How could I ever trust her not to lash out at me? My father, how could I ever trust him after he killed me? And Noriko. Noriko, the one friend I opened up to, the one person who knew all about my struggles. She betrayed me. She kept her perfect life out of reach, taunted me with it, dangled it in front of me like a carrot on a string. And when I asked to share her life with her, she completely misinterpreted it. She told me she loved me, told me she wanted to be with me. She wanted to shower me with gifts, hold my hand, be intimate with me. She wanted to be my girlfriend, but how could I ever be intimate with her after what I went through? She didn't understand me. She didn't understand that I wanted to be her, not be with her. She wouldn't trade lives with me, so how could I ever trust her? How could I trust her when she said she loved me but wasn't willing to make a sacrifice to make me happy? Everyone is full of shit and I'll never trust anybody again. Junpei spends every day trying to prove his love to me. He assists me with my compulsive behaviour, he helps me do my shopping, helps me keep my apartment neat and tidy. Do I trust him? No. I know what he wants from me. He's no better than Noriko. He's willing to jump through hoops for me in the hope that he'll eventually conquer my flesh. Even when he tries to help out with my compulsion, I don't have full faith in him. He takes it upon himself to complete my checklist of rituals in order to spare me the stress. But I more often than not still have to go ahead and double check everything just to make sure he didn't fuck anything up. But if I can't even trust him with that, then I know I'll never be able to trust another soul with anything. Looking at Shinya now, pacing nervously around my apartment, I decide to not put any stock into what he says next. Rogue's having a pellet. There's no way in hell that I'll believe whatever comes out of his mouth.
Noriko is my friend, but my father, Chief Detective Fujikawa, in case you didn't know, has declared her the prime suspect of our investigation.
She's been pretty obvious, and he's just taken a long time.
Thing is, Father isn't the most lenient person, and he's been cracking under stress lately. If he finds Noriko, if he arrests her, there will be no trial. She'll simply get life behind bars. Guaranteed.
Shinya hangs his head and I hear a quiet sob.
Is that our country's idea of justice? She doesn't deserve anything less than death for her crimes. Letting her live safely behind bars isn't a punishment. It's an act of mercy. I want to ensure Noriko receives true justice. Fitting judgment for the lives she destroyed.
Although that absolutely is, for Noriko, torture. From his point of view, it's not the punishment. Death should be the punishment. But literally, that is letting her off because she would genuinely suffer being incarcerated and not being put out of her misery. That's what death penalty nuts don't get. You kill them, you are letting them off the punishment. You don't punish them and then let them go free and live life again. You keep them locked up and they die of natural causes. That is how you punish somebody. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. That's how it should work. Death penalty is letting somebody off a punishment. What he's saying just doesn't add up. How does he know she won't receive the death penalty? It's true that it's not a common punishment, but it's still legal in this country, especially so for cases of mass murder. Does Shinya have information that I don't? Well, yeah, she's a nut job, so she's going to get diminished responsibility.
I need to find her. I need to hand her the justice that my father is too cowardly to deliver.
Whatever. I'm already sick of this guy. He acts like he's been personally wronged by Noriko's crimes, like he's so high and mighty and knows what's best. I doubt he knew a single person that Noriko killed.
Fine. To be honest, I don't really care about your reasons. As long as you want Noriko dead, then our goals are the same. But I have to ask, will you turn yourself into the police after you kill her?
Once again, Shinya hangs his head.
I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't.
He leaves his sentence hanging in midair. It wasn't exactly a confirmation.
There's only one problem. I have no idea where Noriko's hiding. She doesn't live in her apartment anymore. She doesn't show up to her office. I know that she has a factory that she runs her operation from, but I can't find it.
I see. I might be able to help. Tomoe and Noriko used to spend a lot of time together. Not sure what they used to get up to, but I checked the travel history on Tomoe's IC card, and she made a lot of trips to Shinokubo.
Her IC card. For people travelling by train every day, buying single-use tickets is often a pain in the arse. Reusable IC cards are much more convenient. You can top them up with money and simply swipe them at the ticket gates and have your train fare automatically deducted. Oyster card, basically. Best of all, they keep a record of your transaction history and the stations you travelled to recently. The fact that Shinya even thought to look at Tomoe's travel history makes me want to reconsider my initial assessment of this guy's detective skills.
Shinokubo, you say?
Yeah. Can't imagine what she was doing there, but all the dates she traveled to that station coincide with days she claimed to be hanging out with Noriko.
I still don't think Shinya realises that Tomoe was in on Noriko's operation. Regardless, this valuable information. Chances are good that Noriko and Tomoe spent a lot of time together at their factory, and that factory may very well be located in Shinokubo. I'll feed this information to Junpei and see what he makes of it. Perhaps he knows something I don't. So he could identify the van, and he knew everybody's names, and at no point did he ever think, I'll follow the van to the factory. I think my phone battery just died. Yeah. I plugged it in the charger, but we'll see.
Thanks for the info. That's enough for today. I'll contact you when I locate Noriko.
Oh. Say, just one more thing.
What is it?
If you've been wanting to kill her, then why haven't you just called her and asked her to meet up with you?
He thinks he's so clever. He thinks he has everything all worked out. He doesn't know shit.
It's not that easy. I need to find where she's living and running her operation from. I want to destroy everything involved with Corpse Girl. I want to burn her factory to the ground.
More lies. Lies on top of lies. The truth of the matter is that Noriko knows perfectly well my intentions for her, even if she temporarily forgets it during moments of delirium. She would never agree to meet up with me, not now. Things were different not so long ago, but I missed that opportunity. Noriko worked out my position in the human removal service. She figured out that I'm the herald, the one responsible for slicing and dicing. She doesn't know that there's more than one herald, but that's irrelevant. And she doesn't know that I'm responsible for the massive bodies littered across Tokyo thanks to Corpse Girl's website. However, as long as she knows I'm the threat, she'll never agree to meet with me. How she came to the conclusion that I'm the enemy is beyond me. She's a sharp person, despite teetering on the edge of total breakdown. It doesn't matter. The point is, I can't simply call and meet up with her. Besides, I actually do want to locate the factory just as much as I want to locate her. The factory is where I'll plant myself. It's where I'll start my life anew. It's where I'll grow and blossom into the new corpse girl once I've taken over Noriko's identity. Shinya is contemplating my answer. It seems good enough for him.
Fair enough. You want to see Corpse Girl completely and utterly defeated. I get that. That's your idea of justice.
Sure.
Agreeing with him will make the ordeal of a conversation end quicker.
I'm going to get some rest. So...
Okay. I understand. I'll take my leave. Call me when you locate Noriko, okay?
Yes.
Lie.
Farewell then.
He makes his way to the door and I don't take my eyes off him until he disappears through the portal. When he's gone, I tiptoe towards the door and confirm it's fully closed. I make sure the door is snugly nestled in the wooden frame. I lock the door and handle and slide the deadbolt into place.
The door is locked.
But is it?
The door is locked.
I can't be certain. To my eyes that fail me on a daily basis, that betray my mind with illusions and phantoms, the door seems to be locked. But why should I trust my eyes? I don't trust anyone. Why should I trust parts of myself? I can't even see colours clearly. Red, green, whatever. I can't see anything without the aid of glasses. The door has to be locked. It has to be, otherwise I won't be able to walk away. I won't be able to stop thinking about it until I come back and check again and again and again and again.
The door is locked.
I turn away, take a deep breath, and then immediately turn back.
The door is locked. The door is locked.
I'm pretty sure the deadbolt is in place. It certainly looks in place. I'm so exhausted. I'm tired of the routines and rituals. Why can't I just walk away? If I walked away, the problem wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be stuck standing here checking and double checking something so trivial. If I could walk away, I wouldn't be so full of stress. So worked up about things that ultimately don't matter. Another deep breath and I take a step back.
Door's locked.
I turn, run, dash. I sprint through the room, sprint through the hallway. I slam my body into my bedroom door, throwing it open wide. I collapse onto my bed. I ignore the nagging in my brain telling me that the door is unlocked. I ignore it until it feels too real and I have to scratch at my flesh just to distract myself. I pull my pillow over my head and hold it tightly around my face. I'm safe here, safe in my bed. The door is locked. I try to convince myself to fall asleep, tell myself I'll feel better after I rest. I hope I locked the front door.
So yeah, I reckon I'll have some work for you soon.
My can is empty. I am going to get a drink. Let me pet cam you. Happy Beaks. Oh. Right.
The other heralds have been keeping the numbers up. There just haven't been any requests for this area lately, you know?
Yeah.
I'm only half listening to Junpei. He said something about why I haven't been tasked with killing anyone lately, but I don't really care about the reasons. Junpei's the only one in contact with the leader of the human removal service. I just take orders like all the other heralds. Not that I've met any of them. Every herald has their own district, their own turf. If a request comes through our website, it gets allocated to the herald closest to the victim. It must have been a week since I last got to kill, maybe 2 weeks. It's not that I like the killing, it's not that I want to do it. I fulfill the request simply as a way to antagonize Noriko. It's my role to play in backing her into a corner and shutting down Corpse Girl. And so far, thanks to my contributions to the human removal service, we have been increasingly successful. So she's not even the top. Fucking hell. If the top person that she's reporting to is Noriko, that's just too many fucking twists. Corpse Girl is all but a distant memory to the general public. If people really want to request somebody's death, they come to us, not to her. I don't plan on remaining with this group for much longer. After all, Noriko is pretty much already broken. She's a wreck. Once I find her, I'll possess her and quit this group. Then I'll finally have the life I always wanted, Noriko's life. I'll resurrect Corpse Girl when I feel like it. I'll use my inside knowledge of a human removal services operation to bring them down myself. After that, I'll be able to spend my days in peace, living free of fear, finally comfortable in being the girl I want to be. I'll truly be Noriko.
Yo, babe, you in there?
Huh?
I suppose I drifted too far away. I rub my eyes, look at Junpei, and flash in my sweetest fake smile.
I'm okay. Sorry, honey bear. I'm very tired.
I did say that the baby talk thing was a steaming pile of crap. I was right about that. The baby talk thing was bullshit.
Oh, don't sweat it. You want me to grab you a cup of coffee?
Hello, Kachansky. Kachansky's got up to have some pellets.
That would be lovely. You always know how to make me feel better.
Of course. I'm on it, babe. You wait right there.
Junpei stomps away and heads behind the bar, leaving me alone in this empty section of the cafe. Oh, the phone has just buzzed that it has come to life again after my charge went. Okay. I just need to make sure it joins my phone network and not my Wi-Fi network, because I don't want to crash the stream. Sorry. Have the pigs back. Okay, I am back. I can see Petcam on my phone. There's obviously a delay. I'm just waiting to make sure the transitions worked. And it's not frozen. There it is. There we go. There's our kawaii cafe. I take a seat on one of the cardboard boxes lining the wall. The box is solid thanks to being packed full of various canned drinks. The maid cafe belongs to us in the early hours of the morning. The place doesn't open until noon, so there's no one here this early. I have my own keys these days, regardless of whether or not I'm supposed to. Junpei suggested we use the place as a makeshift base of operations after I decided I was going to continue working here. That was some time ago now. Originally, I truly had planned to quit. I was going to go to work with Noriko. My manager at the time used to drive me insane. I couldn't wait to get away. But after I killed him, things here weren't so bad. The new manager is great. He doesn't pressure me to work shifts I don't want to. He doesn't let customers take advantage of the staff. Neither the new manager nor the other staff members care that Junpei and I meet up down here. It's not like we leave any incriminating evidence behind either. It's simply an easy place for us to meet up and talk, since Junpei lives so far away from me. The added benefit is that we have access to cheap drinks and food thanks to my employee discount, so hanging out here is actually quite pleasant. I wait for a while longer for Junpei to return. I really could use a coffee right now. His return is heralded by the thump of heavy feet against the tiled floor.
I got you, fam.
Junpei sides up to me and hands me my favourite drink, a tall iced coffee with an extra espresso shot and a dollop of ice cream.
Oh, you're the best, baby.
Yeah, I know it.
He giggles in his insanely irritating high-pitched way and begins to chug down his own latte.
So I wanted to ask you a favor.
Anything for you, honeybee.
A tuft of milky foam sits on his top lip and I have to hold myself back from stabbing him in the face.
Noriko apparently spent a lot of time in Shin Okubo with her accomplice Tomoe.
Shin Okubo, huh? Good old K-Town. What'd they go there for? Karaoke?
Doubt it. Noriko sounds like a drowning cat when she sings.
Then what?
Well, I'd like to think that's where the factory is located.
Oh, gotcha. Ooh, you could be onto something. Trip from Kojiro's mark to Shin Okubo wouldn't take that long. Since they used to move a lot of bodies around, it's definitely a viable location.
I agree.
Right on, I'll look into it. I'll track down factories in that area and get my troops to investigate each one.
I'm careful not to let him see me roll my eyes. By his troops, he means the guys he plays online games with, a bunch of teenagers that all look up to him because he's a top-ranked player. They're not involved with the human removal service, they're just pawns that Junpei uses to complete legwork around town. Sadly, they're happy to serve him because they all serve him as their sensei. They all see him as their sensei.
Let me know what you find out. I'm itching to get this all over with. My love.
It's increasingly difficult to act pleasant around Junpei. My mouth tries to clamp itself shut every time I use a pet name or affectionate term. I know that my time to discard him is near. Once I become Noriko, then...
You can count on me, sweetums. Now drink up and get your energy back.
I take a sip of my iced coffee and can nearly taste it. Because my tongue is dead, the food and drinks I consume need to be extra strong or sweet for me to have a chance of enjoying the flavour. But Junpei doesn't know this. He just thinks I have a sweet tooth. He can think whatever he wants because I just don't care. A message from Junpei arrives while I'm lying in the fetal position on my couch. Hey cutie, the guys checked out a bunch of factories yesterday, got the right location. Humu. I have to read the message twice to be sure my eyes aren't deceiving me, like usual. Does he truly have the location I've been looking for? I take a calming breath. I don't want to jump to conclusions, especially with something involving Junpei. He has the tendency to exaggerate and may just be trying to get me excited about some useless information. I send him a short reply requesting the info. I instantly receive a thumbs up emote, then the text box changes to an animated as Junpei composes his follow-up message. The wait is agonizing. If Junpei pulls through for me here, I might finally learn Noriko's location. If it all pans out, then everything could be over by tonight. It's hard not to get excited about the prospect. It's hard not to get ahead of myself. I could leave my death behind and never look back. I could become Noriko and live the happy life she has been keeping to herself all these years. The message finally arrives on my screen. It's an address, not that I expected anything else. A street name and a factory number in the Shinokubu area. One more message from Junpei comes through. My guys saw a chick matching Noriko's description inside that factory. They thought she was a zombie. Ha, go check it. This is it. As long as this information is solid, I've located Noriko's factory. My entire body begins to shake. An icy chill washes over me as though I've just walked into a cold shower. It's a strange sensation for a dead girl to feel. Pain doesn't affect me, and yet the cold is something I can never banish from my bones. No time to focus on that. I have to stay calm, need to concentrate and pull myself together. I launch myself up from the couch and collect the backpack hanging over the coat rack. I unzip it, run my hands through its contents, and convince myself that everything I need is within. After swinging the bag over my shoulder, I throw open the apartment door and venture outside. The factory is a rundown mess. How anyone can live here is beyond me. I suppose I'll just have to find a way to make it feel like home. Maybe once I'm inside Noriko's skin, I'll be able to understand why she is comfortable here. Yeah, the more I look at it, the better it seems. This will be my home. I'll be Noriko and live here happily ever after. I'll sit back and enjoy the life that she has been withholding from me. Firstly, I need to find somewhere to change my clothes. I can't kill someone if I'm wearing my nice dress. It's just not acceptable. I did consider changing at home, but then I would have scored funny looks from people on the train ride over here. Is it strange that a dead girl fears entering a socially awkward situation? I always go out of my way to avoid uncomfortable situations. Perhaps it's just a remnant of the life I once knew, something that I can't quite leave behind. It's the same as my obsessive compulsions. They cling to me like carrion flies swarming over my corpse. I shouldn't be worried about any of those things, but dead or not, my mind can't just discard the anxieties that shaped my entire life. Wait, why am I trapping myself in pointless thoughts? My goal is right in front of me. Noriko is on the other side of that brick wall, completely unaware of what is about to happen. A heavy-handed slap to my face doesn't sting, but it causes me to reevaluate what I'm doing. Focus. First, I'll change into the gear provided to me by the human removal service. Then I'll shimmy into the factory through an open window. I'll locate Noriko and drive a knife into her chest. I'll pluck her still breathing heart from her body like a ripe strawberry, and then I'll carve my name into the pulsating, blood-spurting organ. Noriko's life will be over and I'll be reborn. I'll baptize myself in her lifeblood and become the girl I've always wanted to be. And I'll be happy. Happy just like Noriko. That smiling, carefree girl that I spent my youth with. The girl that faced her mother's attempted suicide with a stoic smile. The girl that didn't flinch when her father walked out. The girl that stayed inside day after day when the outside world just became too scary to face. The happy, carefree girl without a single real problem. She never knew how good her life was. She wouldn't have lasted a day in my shoes. I hate her so much. I'm going to become her. My backpack hits the ground with a dull impact. I tear my yellow sundress from my shoulders and let it fall to the ground, just like a snake sheds its skin. The cool afternoon breeze bites at my naked skin and makes the tiny hairs across my body stand on end. Why can't the dead feel the cold? The dead shouldn't feel anything. I crouch and rummage through my backpack, withdrawing my change of clothes. Slowly, calmly, deliberately, I dress myself in the dark gear that marks me as a herald, one of many. I note the comforting weight of 4 knives concealed within my jacket, 1 in each sleeve and 2 against my chest. It's important to be armed to the teeth. After donning every article, I pull a broad mask out of the bag. The mask in the likeness of Corpse Girl, my enemy and my future identity. I slide the mask over my face and a curtain of calm descends over me. This is the last time I march forward in the name of the human removal service. This is for my own personal agenda. The scheming of that rebellious group of killers no longer guides my hand. The time has come. I approach the factory's front entrance and try the door, simply out of curiosity. I don't expect Noriko to have lowered her guard so much, and yet the door swings open. She left it unlocked. A mistake I never would have made thanks to my overbearing compulsions. The place reeks of death. If I wasn't so accustomed to the smell, I'd probably vomit. Do deaf girls vomit? The dull, steady hum of an air conditioner registers in my consciousness, but doesn't distract me from examining the surroundings. Countless empty body bags are strewn across the pockmarked concrete floor. Some are stained with brown blood and some are completely clean. A series of shelves, almost like warehouse racks, run along the walls and across the floor in haphazard patterns. Whoever planned this layout was out of their mind. However, this is home now. My home. Soon. Striding forward, I weave between shelves and step over discarded body bags. So far, there has been no indication of Noriko's presence. Still, I draw a knife from inside my sleeve so that it rests in the palm of my hand. The metal handle is cold. Cold? Why do I feel cold? The entire factory is like a freezer. How can Noriko live here? My torso twists in reaction to the monotone syllable. The quick movement sends a shooting pain across my chest. Pain. Pain?
It's you. Hello, Harold. It took me a while, but I figured out what your mask is supposed to be. It's like an artistic representation of Corpse Girl, right? The Corpse Girl mascot that appears on my website.
Noriko flashes her phone at me and I glare at the website displayed.
That's totally copyright infringement.
I don't know what to say to her. This isn't exactly how I imagined this encounter would play out.
Why'd you fake Junpei Matsumoto's death? You know what I'm talking about, right? That time we met in the underground parking lot. You planted a look-alike corpse to fool us into thinking Junpei had died. Total Corpse Girl move, by the way. Guess you stole that strategy from me, too. I sense a lawsuit.
She steps forward with a hand outstretched. I instinctively lash out with my knife and slash her wrist. But her hand comes to rest on my shoulder, a tiny nick from my inaccurate blade not even prompting a spurt of blood.
Ouch! That stung a little.
The warmth of her hand seeps into my shoulder. It's almost comforting.
Aoi, I miss you. I really miss you. Can you take off the mask? Can we just talk?
I don't take off the mask. I don't know why I'm standing here listening to her. I don't know why her presence and her reassuring hand has caused me to lower my guard. She smiles. This is the happy, carefree Noriko I grew up with.
You're so beautiful, Aoi. I'm really sad we can't be together. How are things with your boyfriend?
That single useless word crawls out of my rotting mouth like a diseased maggot. It's all I can bring myself to say.
You can't tell me? That's okay. You used to be so open with me. And then, you died. We tried to keep our friendship going after that, but we've never really been the same since then, have we? I hope you get the help you need, Aoi. I hope one day we can put all of this behind us.
My fingers loosen the grip on my knife, weakening. It falls to the concrete ground. I don't need it anymore. I tense my arms and squeeze my hands together, desperately trying to crush Noriko's throat beneath my fingers. Her skin is warm and flushes red as my grip tightens. She kicks against me, but the pain doesn't register. She's weak and frail. Her strangled cry is drowned out by my own grunts of exertion. Anemic fingers swipe at my arms constantly, only serving to irritate me. I could hold her neck in one hand and use my other to plunge a knife into her face. I could continue to strangle her until I crush her windpipe. Or I could slash her stomach open and let her intestines spill out onto the ground. All of the options are appealing. All of the options can be put into motion within seconds. I take my right hand off her neck and slip it into my jacket, ready to pull out a knife. My left hand closes tighter on her neck, and Noriko closes the distance between us, causing my elbow to bend and allow her closer. Her forehead slams into my own and my neck recoils backwards. I'm falling to the ground, only able to blink once as I try to work out what just happened. She somehow summoned the strength to headbutt me. Frail, weak, ghostly Noriko. She actually stood up for herself. She actually struck the person she loves. I'm dazed but ultimately uninjured. I didn't even feel the impact of my skull against the concrete when I landed flat on my back. Noriko towers over me and rubs her neck, her ragged breathing even louder than the thrumming air conditioning.
Sorry, Aoi. I had to defend myself. Please, get up. Let's talk about things.
I get up. I slip the knife into her side and feel it slide neatly between two of her ribs. Her taut, thin skin does nothing to resist impalement. Noriko looks down at the wound and mumbles in surprise. I drive the knife in deeper and with a flick of my wrist I pull it sideways, slashing her belly open wide. An arcing stream of blood sprays from the savage wound and forms a macabre rainbow before me. Noriko coughs and gags as she frantically tries to stem the tide of blood with her hands.
Damn it! Corpse girl will
She falls to her knees.
get it.
Her empty threat falls with her and her face slams into the concrete. Noriko Kurosawa is dead. Using the very same knife that slashed her open, I cut along the seams of my jacket and skirt. I strip myself down with the blade until I'm standing cold and naked in the factory. It doesn't take long to strip Noriko down as well, but I'm extra careful with her clothes and I don't use the knife this time. I simply pull her dress up and over her until it slides free from her motionless body. I hold the dress up against me, letting it press against my own form. I look down and admire the sight of myself, imagining what I'll look like when I wear it. I can finally become Noriko. I can wear her clothes, live in her factory, talk to her friends, work at her office. I can do all of the things that she loved to do, all of the things that made her happy. I slip the dress over my head and force my arms through the sleeves. It's a little long, but overall it fits me nicely. I'm Noriko Kurosawa. Okay, Act 3 is done. Moron cut off the wrong arm.